Hey.
Careful of the root beer. That might throw off.
Well, who's root beer? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Eli Halbreich experience, or Highland Tours, the Eli Halbreich experience.
The root beer's spilled, sorry, go on.
It's okay. Is it a lot?
It's fine.
Alright. Eli Daniel Halbreich was born December 21st, 1994, and I think most of you were alive for 2012, and you might remember December 21st, 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world, and for about 2 years before that, starting in 2010, Eli and I knew that this convergence was gonna happen, but then the world didn't end, and so we just celebrated his birthday and went to dinner. This tour is gonna go through Highland Park and then also into Mount Washington, which are both areas that Eli lived in, and we both hung out in a lot together and experienced together. The first area that I'm going to have y'all look at is to the left here. It's the Sparklets building, and Eli and I really love this building. We were really always enamored by the fact that it looked like this really cool fortress, but they just package water, you know? To the left here, against this wall, is where Eli and I spray painted a stencil that we made. EHGG is what it read for Eli Halbreich, Gabe Garza, or egg, it would be pronounced. We sprayed it against the wall, and we were like so excited that we had done that. And then we came back the next day and it was gone already.
What color spray paint was it?
Black. Yeah. Actually, I think we might have done two. We might have done a black one and a gold one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Egg.
Also, it was in your car, Lydia. The stencil's in your car. It's in the
No
back
way.
seat. Yeah. Basically, every street we're gonna go on, Eli and I have either walked, driven, or biked on together, with the exception of two parts of the tour, and I will make sure to point out when those moments are, so as not to confuse or lie to anyone. Coming up over here on the left corner, this gated, gated fenced home is home to two boxer dogs. This is the first time on any of these tours that both dogs have been out here. These dogs these dogs are Eli and I. When Eli and I go up to these dogs, one of them will come up to us, and one of them will come up to me, and one of them will go up to Eli. And the one that I know is my dog had been out here for some of the tours, but Eli's dog hadn't, and now they're both here, and so you can both see them. Those are our dogs. Those are our guys.
Do you think the one that comes up to you is you, or do you think it's Eli as a dog coming up to you and being like, you're my friend?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I always think of them as their own people, you know, but they just both separately want to see each of us.
Yeah.
But I guess I would like to think of it as maybe one, like Eli is the other dog, you know?
Oh, sorry.
If anyone has any questions, comments, inquiries about Eli, please ask away. I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. How tall is Eli?
Yeah.
He's 5'11". maybe 6 foot.
What's his shoe size?
He's like a 9.5.
Have you ever worn his shoes?
I'm wearing his shoes right now. Yeah, that's how I could remember his shoe size so quickly.
Are you the same person, or are you different people?
We're different people.
Okay.
Out here to the right is at this brick wall is home to two dogs that love to run up and jump up and also greet you, but they're a lot more vicious. They look a lot sweeter than the boxers, but the boxers are the only ones that actually like us. And I haven't seen those dogs in a while, and I actually imagine that they could be dead. Someone on the tour said they were, on one of the past tours said they weren't, but If they were dead, Eli and I don't associate ourselves with those 2 dead dogs.
I think someone's following
This-
us.
What was that?
I think there was a car that's following us.
Oh, really?
We lost him.
The street we're on right now is Oneonta, and the house that Eli and his mom and his brother lived in last in this area before they moved out is on Oneonta, and we're gonna visit that house. These streets here we've biked a lot on, probably the most out of any type of movement. The first time I rode a bike after forgetting how to ride a bike was with Eli, and he just suggested we take his bikes out one day, and I was so scared to tell him that I didn't know or I didn't remember how. So he took his bike and I took his mom's really nice tandem bike, and I was so horrible at riding it. I was like crashing into things and falling off, and I have these scars around my ankles from the pedals cutting me. But I never told him how much physical pain I was in because I didn't want to reveal that to him. And there's been a lot of times where we've tried to subdue our physical or emotional pain so that the other person doesn't have to deal with us. Over here to the right is that house that I was speaking of. We spent a lot of time in here. This was the last home that he lived in. And to the top right, I don't know if everyone can see, but it's a balcony, and that's where Eli's room is. And we love to spend time over there. I'm gonna just let this car pass us.
Can we open the window?
They can't
Might
get.
not
They
be
can't get.
space behind
You can.
you. They're the ones that are
I don't
following
think
us.
they can.
Between that truck and us.
Get me tight.
Thank you. So where was I? We spent a lot of time in that home, blah, 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 in that room. Yeah, a lot of wrestling, a lot of hanging out in that room, watching movies, doing things like that. And we filmed a lot of videos in that home too for history projects. And we loved filming in that home, but we also loved filming on the street here. We also shot a lot of Eli's personal projects along these streets and in this home. And we really loved doing like running shots and driving shots around these curves. And yeah, just almost every video we probably shot, we've used this area around here. This is actually Eli right now. He's doing a running shot. This intersection here has been a source of, was a source of confusion for Eli and I for a very long time. When he moved into that house there on Oneonta, we would always walk around and try and find places that we'd heard about or had been told to go see, and we would always get confused because it's like a 6-way intersection, and we weren't exactly sure which way to go all the time. This right here is the Jessica Triangle to the left, and Jessica is a character in Eli and I's life that we created in light of the Jessica Triangle existing, and we would always talk about Jessica, refer to Jessica, speak of Jessica, but we don't know Jessica, and people would imagine that we knew someone who's actually named Jessica.
Did you guys ever like decide what she would look like?
Yeah, we drew pictures of her, but it was like ever changing. Yeah. Over here to the right is the first, or is a park where Eli and I got drunk together for the first time. The top left corner is where we sat after asking a homeless person to buy us Four Loko, and we drank for hours and hours, and then we came out here to this driveway and called our girlfriends at the time and talked to them about how drunk we were.
What flavor?
The green one. And the grape, we had a grape one, or watermelon and grape. Over here to the left is a record store. This guy runs it out of his house. It's an amazing spot. And Eli and I used to walk down just to come see it. And we would always buy presents for each other there for like Christmas and our birthdays and stuff. And we would pretend like they came from somewhere else, like a more fancy place, so that we actually put a lot of effort into going out and searching for this record. We always knew that they just come from there.
What kind of records does he sell?
All sorts of stuff. He actually has a really, really great collection of stuff, and he's constantly changing it. You'd really like it, I think. There's a lot of rock music.
Oh, nice.
Remember any of the records that he bought for you?
Yeah, there's this one like some rapper's like Christmas single that was there, and it's like it was like the classic trope of like big booty like elf ho things, you know. So this is the first street that we're gonna go on that I mentioned before as being a street that we didn't really traverse together. We've definitely been on it separately a lot. It's Avenue 50, we did spend a lot of time in the residential area to the right here, and walking around the houses and around the neighborhoods, because we just had nothing to do sometimes and we just want to go out and adventure. And one of the first times we hung out in that capacity, we came out into the residential area and we found this bust of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that someone had left out in their house to give away. And it was really heavy, but we really wanted to take it with us. And whenever after this first time happened, every time we went back in there, we would get lost. So we saw the bus, wanted to take it home, and decided, yeah, let's go back now and get Eli's mom, Rebecca, to take us back. And it took us like 2 or 3 hours to get back home because we couldn't figure out how to get there exactly. And got home, asked his mom to drive us back down the hill, and when we came back, the bust was gone. But it wasn't gone because someone had taken it. It was gone because we couldn't find it anymore.
But you couldn't find the location where you left it?
Right. Where it was, yeah. This is the second and final street that we'll be on that Eli and I really don't have any together relationship to. So, just to let you know. And again, any questions or inquiries, let him at me.
Multiple bouncy houses.
Yeah, it's quite a scene.
Do you feel like doing this driving tour has helped you remember, like, better or worse these things?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bad question to qualify in that way, but I guess, like, do you feel like it's more or less, like, real or accurate based on, like, remembering it over and over again and, like, performing your memory?
Compiling the information made it hard to actually remember and imagine that these things happened because it was so... I never, tried to compile the experiences, but it's definitely made my memory better. There's been things that I just completely forgot about that I feel like I'm not going to forget about again because I've had to remember them. Like how this Yum Yum Donuts here to the right is where Eli and his mom and his brother would frequent sometimes breakfast in the morning before driving to school. Yeah, he would just usually get like a glazed donut. Maybe a coffee.
What did you get?
I wouldn't go there with him.
That
was him and his brother and his mom would go on the way to school. Sometimes they had been there before. Sometimes they'd pick me up and they'd been there before, but they never would get me something from there.
Did they feel like Yum Yum was an appropriate name for the food that they were getting?
Probably not. I think Eli's mom, Rebecca, probably thought it was gross.
Not Yum Yum.
I don't think she always got donuts there. And now we're gonna have to wait for the train. But this train is actually pretty important it's the Gold Line, and when Eli and I went to school together, we would take the Red Line to Union Station, and then the Gold Line from Union Station over here to the Southwest Museum stop. And we'd get out and wait for his mom at the bottom of the hill to bring us back up to his home, and we're going to see that area in a minute. But we really loved going on the train. We went to a private school, and we didn't have like a school bus experience really ever, like taking the bus to school or anything. So I think we were always really enamored by, you know, like taking the train home from school sort of thing.
What stop did you go to? I used to take the bus
From Wilshire and Western.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wilshire Western, and then Union Station, and then we'd get off here at Southwest Museum.
You guys ever go to the Southwest Museum?
No. And it's funny, I was thinking about that on one of the other tours, but the kind of like the reason that we never went to the museum was, I don't think either of us were ever interested, but it's closed on the weekdays, and we were only ever here on the weekdays.
It's the first museum in LA.
Yeah.
So we would take the train going this direction, and get off at the stop over here. And we'd walk over here, and there's this little roundabout, and one of the entrances to the museum is here. And I actually saw it open for the first time the other day, and it has this like really long, expansive hallway. So we'd come up here, hop the back of that fence, and then go and sit on the top of this structure and wait for Eli's mom to come down the hill and pick us up. And we used to see these two really cute girls that would be waiting for one of their parents to come pick them up too from school. And we always wanted to talk to them, but we're so nervous. And the one time we finally did, the girl we thought was the cutest, she had a British accent. We were really intimidated by her. From then on, never spoke to her again. Right here, where the fire lane meets the side of the street, is where Eli and I sat a few years ago for like 2 or 3 hours. One night after going on a walk, and we just sat there and talked about our feelings, talked about our relationships at the time, talked about school, talked about our life goals, and just like basically got everything out that we hadn't been talking to anyone else about. It was very early in our relationship too, and we cried to each other, and for each other, but it wasn't entirely sad. It was very sweet, and I think we were both happy to know that we were going to be there for each other like that. So right now we're on Crane, and this is another place where Eli and his family, or this street is the home to the first home that Eli, his mom, and his brother lived in this area. The hills here, they're super, hilly. The elevation changes really fast too. And Eli's the only person that I associate that kind of like elevation change with in my life. This flat area especially, Eli and I spent a lot of time on ding-dong ditching people. Does everyone know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. No, we'd always run away. Yeah. Because sometimes there was no reaction.
Is that place where you said you guys waited for his mom to pick you up the place where he...
Thank you.
Where he told you he threw a condom? Or is that something else?
That is there. Yes. I was always so... I loved being here at Eli's house and at the last house we were at too, but I always felt so bad when my dad would have to come and like pick me up after school, because it felt so far away. It felt like this enormous trek to come and get me from Eli's house.
Is that because it's like on a hill. It just feels like
yeah,
farther.
yeah. So coming up here on the right is 590 Crane, where Eli and his mom and his brother lived for the first house in this area that they lived at. And a lot of the plants here, Rebecca planted, and she took such good care of all the plants in this home, and took good care of Eli and his brother so well and so beautifully. And she's been like a second mom to me too, and I really appreciate her love and nurturing and all her care. And she loved this home. She loved it a lot. And this is actually her right here to the right. She's watering plants still right now.
You had to get gas today? Yesterday?
No, they got filled up yesterday. And I've been fine, yeah. That house that we were just at has a beautiful view out into this canyon, and you'll see some of the view for a second over here. It's incredible. I think it's incredible. Right here to the right, there's this white fence, and Eli and I used to walk this way from his house over to where we're headed now, and I would walk along the railing, and Eli would hate that I did that, and he would get so frustrated with me, and like he didn't want to spot me, but he would be sort of watching out for me. He's just so careful and loving, but he knew he knows I'm an idiot and knows I do stuff like that. Would just hang out with me anyway.
Have any of you fallen or gotten hurt on these hills? Like biking or doing like crazy stunts? Yeah,
we have. We have gotten a little hurt doing stunts, and we actually shot a video out here in Moon Canyon, and I'm gonna have everyone get out of the car right now. We both hit each other in this car. And each other in other capacities, wrestling especially. Yeah. And we shot a video out here where we were shooting a video for our history class, where we were supposed to represent different factions of the conflict in Mexico, and I was representing the Mexican army, and Eli was representing the rebellion against the army, and our history teacher hated all of our videos, but they were always like, they always had the highest production value because Eli's an amazing filmmaker, and we would always get the best grade in the class, even though we were always just fucking around and doing stuff like this. Get back in the car now. We shot a video for Mr. Fodor's class where we were wrestling in our underwear.
Oh my god.
We pretended it was this Islamic wrestling called Yagli Gares. It's like an oil wrestling where you like lather your body up.
Oh my god.
Ready for bike?
Yeah.
For
Yeah. This girl is just on the side. Did you really send you this?
Yeah. So,
cut his hair.
A few years ago, Eli and I went on a backpacking trip together to Mount San Gorgonio. About 2 days into the trip, well, we did it sort of as a symbolic gesture, as like a last thing to do together before we started school, because Eli was going to go to Bard all the way across the country. We'd never been that far away from each other. So we went on this backpacking trip, and about 2 days in, we were about halfway up the mountain. Eli realized he was getting really sick and got sunstroke. So we made the decision, sadly, to come back down the mountain that day. And I had to carry both our packs, and Eli was really weak, and it was really scary. I'd never seen anyone this physically distraught. So we went back down the mountain that day. It took us a really long time to go down the hill, and when we got into the car, we were going down sort of the way we're going down right now in the car. In this car, this is the car we actually took. And it's funny because that sort of became symbolic of how our college experiences sort of went. Not in a way where I was helping Eli with anything, but he went out to Bard and then realized he didn't want to go to school and came back home. And just like how that experience brought us closer together, Eli coming back from school brought us closer together, and we've spent a lot of time together still, and we're becoming adults together, which is really strange. But on the way back down the hill that night, we played an album, and we had put all these tapes together, cassette tapes. There used to be a cassette player in here, and Eli and I love cassettes and would share and trade cassettes. We brought all these cassettes for the trip to play specifically, like going up the mountain, and some specifically to play for going down the mountain. So because of this expedited trip ending, we felt that we still needed to, or even though there was this expedited trip ending, we thought we still needed to play the records we intended to for going down the hill. And one of them was this album, Yo La Tengo's Painful. And it's really corny and really dramatic and kind of somber, and it was perfect for driving down the hill at night together after having this experience.